Hi folks, Jupiter Joe here with Jupiter Joe's Sidewalk Astronomy. I'm here today in New York City at the Intrepid Museum, pretty much my home away from home. We're here tonight for an astronomy night that's hosted by the Intrepid Museum. The Intrepid Museum hosts different astronomy nights throughout the year. They have astronomy nights for families, and they also have astronomy nights for adults. So definitely visit intrepidmuseum.org and find out more about the events that they host. What I'm going to be doing here today, aside from our normal astronomy night where we have telescopes out for the public to see, you might see I have a lot of items here that are definitely astronomy related. One of the products that I'm going to be using tonight is actually a new product from Celestron telescopes. It's called the NexYZ. Now, you may not know what the NexYZ is, but trust me, by the end of this video, you're definitely going to want one. So, without further ado, this is the NexYZ. So the NexYZ is actually a cell phone holder or smartphone holder for your telescope. This will clamp on not just to a telescope, but it'll clamp on to pretty much anything that has an eyepiece, which is pretty wonderful. So here I have a different array of eyepieces, but this can also attach to spotting scopes, through to binoculars. It comes with a full assortment of attachments that allow you to do that. One of the great things about this specific smartphone holder compared to a lot of other ones, this one is adjustable for 1.25 inches up to 2-inch eyepieces. So you'll see that I have a couple of different eyepieces here. This would be an 1.25 inch eyepiece, as is this. This is a pretty large 1.25 inch eyepiece from Celestron, and you'll see it mated against some of the larger 2-inch eyepieces. This is pretty much a standard 2-inch. This is a little bit bigger, and this is a behemoth piece right here. So these are all 2-inch eyepieces. They just have varying sizes. So without further ado, let me pop this open and give you guys a quick view of the Celestron NexYZ. So, quick unboxing. Now, one of the great things I love about what's called digiscoping, and that's when you put a telescope over the eyepiece of a telescope, or binoculars or a spotting scope. One of the cool things about that is you're getting the magnification from the telescope and the eyepiece combination. But the great thing is your telephone is very adept at taking very close pictures. So because of that, you can get some really great images out of that without having to spend a lot of money. So let's get back to this quick unboxing. Of course, we want to get rid of the styrofoam. Don't throw that away. Instructions, definitely want to take a look at those. These here are, so these are gaskets. So these will wrap around certain eyepieces if they're too small, or if you have a spotting scope, for instance, that may not be wide enough for the clamp to clamp onto. You'll put these around it, so we'll put these right here. I don't think I'll be needing those for these eyepieces though. And here is the behemoth. All right. So again, packaged well, making sure it's definitely got holes in the bag. We always want to see those. It's one thing we always concern ourselves with, especially when kids are around. So this is the Celestron NexYZ. Looks pretty simple. No, it doesn't. Actually looks pretty complicated at your first look. Definitely the Celestron orange, highlighting it. One of the cool things about this is, unlike a lot of other smartphone adapters and holders, this adjusts on 3 levels. So you can adjust this. Here, I'll show you. This adjusts side by side. So if you see that moving, it also adjusts up and down. But what sets it aside from a lot of other smartphone holders is, if I turn this to the side, it also adjusts for the depth of the eyepiece. So you can change your focal view depending on where your cell phone is and where you get the best view through the eyepiece. So that's really one of the key things that sets it apart. Some of the other cool features that it has, we have seen some other cell phone holders that are made out of plastic. This as well has an ABS type plastic construction with a lot of metal hinge work. So definitely all your hinges and all the screws and everything, springs, They're all metal, so they're not going to wear down on you, and that's really what I like. If you see here, this is all metal, so you're not going to worry about stripping gears or anything like that. One of the other great features is a lot of the other cell phone holders that you're going to see may have a screw attachment that tightens down onto the eyepiece. Now, that works fine. The problem is that depending on the size of the eyepiece, if I'm using an 1.25" eyepiece and I put it into, let's say here, just to give you an idea, there's a lot of space there, right? So what this allows you to do, this will actually allow you to lock down and get closer to that eyepiece, allow you to get as close as you possibly can, and then allows you to lock down this way. The nice thing about this is you don't have to worry about having a big giant eyepiece that's going to be scraping up against metal or anything like that. This is ABS. You don't have to worry about damaging any of your expensive eyepieces by clamping this on. That's one of the things that I was always worried about, was getting scratches on big expensive eyepieces. Somewhat like this, where, let's say something like this, which is like an $80 eyepiece from Celestron, or you have something like this that's a $450 eyepiece. You definitely want to get scratches on these. So I appreciate that Celestron's taken that into consideration. So what we're going to do is give you some quick little views of some other things that we can do with this. So we're going to unscrew this one. So I've already showed you, this is attaching to that little 1.25". It was perfectly secure. It will end up looking similar to this on your telescope. Now, changing it to another 1.25" eyepiece isn't an issue. We can take this 1.25" eyepiece from Celestron. This is actually a zoom eyepiece, and just to put this down for a moment and give you an idea of what this means is, this knob right here allows me to turn and change the focal length of the eyepiece. So this goes from a 24mm eyepiece down to an 8mm eyepiece. The reason I like using this is, whenever I'm doing outreach, I don't want to carry a bunch of eyepieces with me. So this allows me to basically show very wide field of view or very narrow field of view with a single eyepiece. And we can just make minor adjustments to the focus. So taking this allows me to clamp right onto it. There you see, nice and focused inside. Now, I want to tighten this down. So there is a little, I'll show you from the rear, there is a little knob here. Once you put your eyepiece inside, you'll turn that knob, and that will lock it into position. Now, once it's locked into position, it's nice and firm. We can take our cell phone, and let me get ourselves a cell phone here. So this is a Galaxy S8 with a slimline cover on it, and you'll see that by pulling this tab here, this is what allows you to change the different types of cell phones that you're putting inside. So I'll hold it this way. We can take our Galaxy S8, we can slide it right in, and voila, there it is. It's held in place right over the eyepiece. If I wanted to adjust this, I can turn this to go horizontal. I can turn this to go up and down. So in this case, I do need to go down a bit. There we go. And if you're looking at the profile, if I wanted to raise this up a little bit more to give myself a little bit more of a view, I would then take this knob here, and I can rotate this one. Actually, this one's all the way. So this is actually, this eyepiece here has a very long eyepiece rubber cup. Sorry about that. Let me bring that down a bit. So if I wanted to bring it down, let's say that eyepiece rubber cup was not there. Let me move this out of the way. This will give you a better view without the eyepiece rubber cup. And if I wanted to bring this down closer, see how adjustable it is. So that's one of the key features of getting this eyepiece adapter. The smartphone adapter. Apologize. One of the other things I like about this is, because it's not made out of metal, or at least the contacts that are integrated with the phone aren't made out of metal, you don't have to worry about cracking your phone. Some eyepiece adapters are all made out of metal, and when you put your phone on it, it's metal on metal. If somebody jars it, that phone can come out. This one does have a rubberized platform for the phones. It also has not rubberized, but it's more of like a textured feel to the bottom of the ABS plastic that encompasses the phone. So you can definitely rest assured that your phone's not going to come out of there once it's inside. One of the other features that I like, as I said, it's that this little screw right here allows you to lock your eyepiece in. So if I unscrew this now all the way, I can then take this lever, take my eyepiece right out, and if this is on your telescope or on your eyepiece while the eyepiece is attached to the telescope, it's really not going to be an issue. You can take this off easily. You don't have to take it off to change the phone. You can literally just pull this little latch, and that will allow you to accommodate various size phones. Just to give you an idea, as I said, this was a Galaxy S8, and this is a older Lumina 650. So you can see the huge difference, and having that huge difference allows me to, I can just slide it in if I want to. Oop. There we go. So that can slide right in, and you can see the Lumina is right in there perfectly. No issues, and that's a pretty sizable phone. So while this won't fit a tablet inside, it will definitely fit your larger phones. In fact, I pretty much think this is one of the largest phones that's out there. You can see it easily accommodates it. So you can rest assured, whatever phone you have, you're going to be pretty good. And it's spring loaded, so it's always going to go back into position. So just to give you a quick idea, you already saw the 1.25-inch eyepieces. Here's a couple of various 2-inch eyepieces. So this one right here, this is kind of your standard 2-inch eyepiece, and this is going to go right on. You'll see it slides right in. I can then lock it into place, and it's pretty good, nice and locked in. It's not going anywhere. Once that's attached to the telescope, we'll be good to go. Taking this out though, I'm going to show you some of the larger eyepieces. So some of these eyepieces can get very large. Here we have an Apm eyepiece. This is a 9mm eyepiece, but it's a very large 2-inch diameter eyepiece. So the base is 2 inches. The barrel is a little bit wider. So let's see how that fits on. This one I'll have to go through the top because it is a bit wider, but you'll see it will screw on perfectly fine. Let's tighten it down. And again, nice and in place. So it's in there. You can even tighten it a little bit more. And then we would be able to adjust this. Now remember, even though you have this adjustment, you want to be able to adjust the height of the eyepiece. So my recommendation is when you're using this, bring it down to your pretty much lowest point, and then raise it up on the eyepiece so that it actually meets flush with the eyepiece at the very top. And the reason for that is, once we lock this down, let me do that. So the reason for that is, you know that once it's locked into position and you have your cell phone in there, let's take that cap off, you can then raise it to accommodate the proper focal height. All right, you need the right focal length inside for you to actually see with your phone. If you bring it too low, you're going to be hitting the eyepiece, and you don't want to do that. So keep that in mind when you're attaching this. Now, just to show you, I'm going to unscrew this all the way, put that one down, and we're going to take this big behemoth. Now this is definitely a very large barrel. This is well over the size that this would accommodate just clamping onto the body. So as you see, this is a very ultra wide eyepiece. So this isn't designed to clamp onto the barrel, but the beauty of this is it does have a very firm eyepiece eyepiece cup that's here, and you can clamp onto this eyepiece cup, and because it clamps on so well with this thumb screw, you don't have to worry, like I said before, about tightening it as much as possible. There's no metal on metal contact. You're not going to scratch your eyepiece, damage your eyepiece in any way. Now I've just tightened this on. It is there. It is not going anywhere. I feel completely confident in putting my cell phone on that. And then I can actually adjust it to the proper height once it's on. Now, because this is so much higher and this is such a wide field of view, it may compromise how much visual space you'll be able to see. You'll definitely be able to get an image in there. You just may not be able to get the full image in there. So keep that in mind for whatever eyepiece you're using. So tonight we'll be using this. I'll try and get some footage, and we'll definitely be showing you some video in addition to this. So I thank you again for joining me. It's Jupiter Joe, like Jupiter Joe's Sidewalk Astronomy. And again, visit the intrepidmuseum.org so you can find out more about their astronomy nights, and maybe you can come out and test this out for yourself. And remember, tonight we're looking at the Celestron, there we go, NexYZ. So it's definitely a product for you guys that are interested in digiscoping. I highly recommend it. We will definitely be reporting on what our findings are. So definitely look back for more information on how we test it out tonight and see what the views are. Take care, Jupiter Joe out, and please visit jupiterjoesastronomy.org when you get a chance. Take care.